All right, everyone, you hear that? No, you don't. It's silence. What does that represent? Oh, it's the media burying another story and not talking about it, being very, very quiet all of a sudden about something that entered the news cycle like a fucking atomic warhead for about 48 hours. What is that? Oh, it's the Ukraine story. You see, the whistleblower, we're going to use quotations on that one, that came forth to talk about Trump supposedly doing shady shit with Ukraine. First, we learn that this person apparently was a registered Democrat. That's fairly innocuous because much of the U.S. population is registered either as a Democrat or a Republican. That's not evidence of wrongdoing. Now we're finding out, though, something else that's kind of mysterious, which is, oh, yeah, this person worked directly with Vice President Biden when he was in office. There's nothing mysterious or odd about this whatsoever. In fact, I'm going to tell you what I think. This might sound a little conspiratorial. What if this person wants to tank Biden's career, knows Trump didn't do anything wrong, and decided to whistleblow on Trump to expose Biden by getting the story rolling? Well, if that's the case, it certainly worked. Maybe they felt miffed, like Biden didn't tip them one time when they were, playing golf or whatever. But Biden was using him as a caddy, maybe, and didn't give him a three-figure total for having done so. Regardless, there's some weirdness going on here, and the corporate media won't talk about Ukraine much anymore. They'll wait a week or two, let it go out of public consciousness. They don't want anyone talking about it while this story is active. They'll wait until it peters out of the news cycle, which is quickly because the public's consciousness is relatively low most of the time. Its psyche, its ability to actually focus on things is relatively limited. This is an unfortunate tendency and trait of humans that's become worse, actually, lately because of Vine and arguably YouTube and things like that. Long form like I do is a rare breed now compared to a lot of other commentary. It's like, oh, the news in 30 seconds. Here, I'm going to compress everything you need to know, every complex characteristic of today's current events into 60 seconds of material. It doesn't really work, but, it's a good attempt. There's something to be said for maintaining a little bit of actual pleasant discourse once in a while. Sometimes people just want to sit down and listen to someone drone. They don't even have to listen to it. Fucking I do that all the time. So the whistleblower had a direct connection to Biden through his work. That's a little bit odd now, isn't it? The media will stop talking about it, wait a week, and then they'll start talking about impeachment again. That's really a problem because the entire impeachment thing is based on the Ukraine calls. It's based explicitly on the whistleblower. If they bring this whistleblower into the public fore, if they bring him up, get testimony from him, of course they want it behind closed doors with the whistleblower obscured and in a black box like a mesmerist act from the late 1800s. Of course they want him in the spirit cooking closet. They don't want the person's identity known to the Republicans. They don't want the person's identity certainly known to the public. They don't want anything known about them, and they also don't want the direct testimony directly available. I guarantee the Democrats will clamor to have that classified, only readable. It'll be in a special room where congressmen could go in one by one and read the redacted version of it that Schiff has signed off on or something like that, because they know now that they've been hoodwinked. What's happened is they've dug their own graves. They decided to launch an impeachment inquiry on a phony scandal that may have involved a whistleblower who was actually attacking Biden. That's what this appears to be. Or either that or, it's going to throw Biden under the bus anyway. The proximity to the whistleblower in a case that fundamentally involves Hunter Biden is not going to go very well for him. There's a reason that Joe Biden has slumped over the last week. Biden has lost more support than Trump by far over this. Trump is still at his same rough long-term average in the low to mid 40s. He hasn't changed. Biden collapsed. Biden is now in second place behind Elizabeth Warren. By the way, Warren's milquetoast response to this is not going to sit very well with the American public when this case gets cracked open, if it happens. I assumed that Pelosi was launching the impeachment inquiry with the idea that we know he didn't do anything impeachable. We're just going to have the inquiry active to hold it over his head during the election to try to prevent his support from growing to defeat him. It's now looking like she may have actually been hoodwinked herself. Like she jumped the gun. She said, oh, finally we have a smoking gun. We can finally get rid of the bastard. We can take Pence down. We win the White House. Major national scandal probably gives us the Senate, and then we'll have carte blanche to pass draconian gun control and censor the internet and government takeover of healthcare and corporatism and the educational system. Well, we'll do all of that. I think now she's realizing that probably that's not going to occur. Trump's approval hasn't budged at all. There's a reason. There's no scandal involving Trump here. The scandal involves Joe Biden. The scandal involves the fact that during the past administration, the vice president's son, someone one step away from the number 2 man in the whole country, was sitting on a committee for a foreign energy firm that was directly involved with diplomacy that was going on actually at that time, involving billion-dollar deals over energy. That's a major scandal. It should have been talked about at the time. It certainly should have been investigated, but apparently the hand-picked successor to the prosecutor that wanted to look into it, that Poroshenko, yeah, what a wonderful guy he always has been, by the way, what a wonderful, upstanding, non-corrupt individual Poroshenko is, stifles the investigation. The dude he puts in has helpfully come to the corporate media and said, don't worry, I thought there was nothing particularly wrong there, so I decided not to investigate. Well, I'm sure that makes the partisans sleep better at night. And the fact is this, though, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're a Democrat, you probably think that Trump is guilty as sin, should be impeached, and Biden did nothing wrong. You probably give Biden a pass. I think that's less likely, though, because the Democrats are so fractious right now. If you're a Republican, you think that Trump did nothing wrong, he just talked to a foreign leader. Biden probably squished out this prosecution to save his son and make a lot of money, and he should be thrown out of office. If he's elected, he should be disqualified from the primaries. He's a terrible person. If you're me, and you're analyzing this from a nonpartisan perspective, I gotta side more with the people that are siding with Trump. I'm not at this point pretending like there might not have been some shenanigans going on behind closed doors with Poroshenko, but it's not impeachable. You can call it dubious, but the president talking to a foreign leader, even if the investigation involves a political adversary, if there is a reasonable suspicion that something went wrong, and that something untoward was going on with his son, Biden's son, Hunter Biden, that's something that should be looked into. That's not even a partisan issue. Trump probably launched it for partisan reasons. Let's not kid ourselves, but that's not an impeachable offense. Trump decided to investigate a potential massive white-collar crime involving a newly minted allied regime and $1 billion because of the vice president's son being on a foreign energy firm. But it was one of his opponents, so somehow it becomes wrong. Well, then who's supposed to trigger the investigation? Does he have to have Pence do it? Does Pence have to call up and try to get a prosecution going? Or Barr? Well, it looks like he might have tried to do that. It looks like he might have leaned on other people to get the ball rolling and decided to take a initiative for himself. I don't have a problem with that. I'd say Biden's career's fucked. The fact that the whistleblower was directly working with him, that needs to be explained, but I don't expect it to be. I expect that Schiff and the other Democrats will put a wall of silence around this entire issue now, and they'll let it fester in the public's mind that there's an inquiry going on for impeachment, but they'll try to divorce it from Ukraine. They'll try to swing it around, and they'll try to affix it to Trump the bad man, Trump the orange, a ghoulish guy. He's sexist, racist, violent, homophobic, all these various lies, which is what they are about him. They'll try to get that into the public consciousness in place of Ukraine because it's become politically inconvenient more for the Democrats than for Donald Trump. That's about all. Peace out.